And he told us, we were talking about that, just, we have some machines working in Hancombe right now, but there's trees growing in the bottom of the ditch that's causing restriction.
Right.
And it needs to be cleaned out. So we're aware of it, we just got trying to get to it, you know.
The problem is it's destroying everything I have.
I know. Yes, sir.
And I just need to get some of that addressed if possible.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And James Jenkins?
I've got the same kind of problem with the sewer. Every time we get a rain, it fills the pipes up.
Yes.
I called y'all up one day with the problem, sent some people out there, and the only way I can flush my toilets is take the cap off, clean out, and that's what your people told me to do. So I'm running sewage into the ditch. Which isn't right. Sorry? 234 Manili Road. And I hate to run sewage in the ditch, but that's the only way I can flush my toilets.
That is a shame.
Yeah.
That is.
Okay.
Which end of McNeely are you on, the north end?
Yes. Manili, I live on Collin Manili.
Pretty close to where Jeffrey is?
Across the street.
Okay, I thought so. That ain't good, that ain't worth it.
880.
I appreciate it, Mr. James.
All right.
And then Hazel Moe?
Hazelnutter, yes sir.
Okay, yeah, I know. Yeah, how you been?
Fine, thank you, how y'all doing? I want to congratulate you on the new building, it looks nice.
Yes, sir.
I live in North Lake Drive, 222 North Lake Drive. My issue is the grinder. Every time it rains, they told us when it starts blinking, the light on top of the grinder call us and we come service it.
Yes.
But what happens when it rains too much, the light stays on, comes on and stays on. I want to know if this is going to affect the grinder or not. We don't really know if the sewage is backing up or not, but our main problem in North Lake Drive, the whole neighborhood floods. It seems like the houses on the north end of North Lake Drive coming in, the ditches are very deep, adequate, and the drain, but the houses on the south side, like across the street from me,
Right.
Coach Menard, David Benoit's house,
Right.
Janet Lee's house,
Right.
those ditches, they look like they're not even draining. We have a pipe coming across the road from David Benoit to my yard, and that pipe doesn't really carry that much water coming in. And we don't know if the water comes in around the ditch, goes into the lake, or it goes back on the road, but we really have a lot of water coming in, and it comes in close to the houses.
Right.
And
I know there's a problem on Interstate 10. Some of those pipes are really small and stuff, because Mr. Martin Granzine called the other day, had the same kind of problem with that ditch that goes down in. And that's been a problem from the drainage, because it has to go through the Interstate 10, if I'm thinking right. Isn't that right, David?
Well, yeah, I understand that.
Right.
But the deal is, it's not going out of the neighborhood to 1663 to,
Right.
to I-10.
Right.
It's staying in the neighborhood a lot longer on one side of the road than the other.
Okay.
I would like for somebody to just look at David Benoit's house and Janet Lee's house.
Right, all in that area, yeah, but that's on the south side of that addition.
Yes.
I know exactly where you're talking about. That's up against Midland and Burns, I believe.
Correct, the backside of Middle of the Burn, but it's inside North Lake Drive.
Right, I don't know if it's got a ditch through there or not.
Coach Menard's house don't have a pipe, and really you can't really see if there's a ditch or not.
Yes.
But it's David Benoit's house, Coach
Right.
Menard's house, and the house next to it, Melissa, I don't know that name.
Same thing.
That ditch need to be looked at, if y'all don't mind. Maybe it will help ease some of the flooding that some of the neighbors have. We know 2-3 houses that really get floods every time it sprinkles down here.
Yeah, exactly right.
And we'll be glad to show them when they come around and show them exactly what our concerns is.
Okay. Maybe we can make an appointment. or something.
Yes, sir, if you leave me a phone number before you leave, I'll get with you, we'll come up there and take a look.
I appreciate that, and I thank you all for giving me a chance to talk on
Oh,
behalf of
yes, sir,
everybody.
anytime. Yes, sir.
Thank you, God have a good day, thank you.
Is there any other public comments? I appreciate y'all coming today. It was very nice of you. The more we know about our community and everything else, the better help we can serve you and help you figure out the problem.
CDM, last name Elker, E-L-K-U-R.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 4. Review and consider paying for environmental study by Horizon Environmental for Smith Point Water Line.
I believe this was on the agenda last time whenever I wasn't here. And basically what it is basically whenever the HGAC gave the Chambers County $6 million, 3 of it was given to us and 3 of it was given to CLC&D. Basically, CLC&D wasn't able to spend the money, so I asked the judge if Trinity Bank could get the money. So basically, they said for me to submit a project to be able to do that. We have a 6-inch water line running 15 miles to Smith Point, and there's not enough adequate water supply down there. So I submitted it to him to put a new water line to Smith Point, and so they would have adequate water down there. This went to the general land office and to the county and everything else. They approved the project. So basically, they're willing to let us have the money. The only problem is paperwork, and it will take about 6 months before we can start on the environmental. And all of this money has to be spent before the end of 2018. So basically, they've asked the public management company and the engineering company that put it together, asked if Trinity Bank could pay for the environmental study ahead of time. It would give us an extra 6 months to put the line in and get on top of any problems that they would have to be able to install the thing.
Yeah, because the way I understand it, if they have a fire down there, they don't even have enough water to put the fire out.
It's getting pretty close, yes.
Right.
So basically, I had like a week to put a project together to be able to put this together, and we did. So this is what they asked for us to do, for us to spend $30,000 to pick up $2.4 million to put a water line down there. So, and it would also give us an extra 6 months for, I don't know if most of you know how long it takes to get a permit from the state or the Corps or something like that. We have a water line running down there already, so it's pretty much going to parallel. So we've already had an environmental study done at one time, so we're hoping that there's not going to be any great big problems. If not, the money's going to go back to the state. And then Trinity Bay in the future will have to pay for the water line out of their pocket.
And I make this motion that we pay for this environmental
Did
study.
we have discussion on this?
Sure.
We did last meeting, Jeffrey.
No, we didn't. We didn't
I
have
thought we
discussion.
did for quite some time.
Well, last meeting, I stopped this thing because there was a price connected to it, but no.
Well,
We
you-
didn't know we were gonna be reimbursed.
We didn't know. I mean, we asked if we were gonna be reimbursed.
you're paying $30,000 to get $2.5 million if we got the first one.
Well, my question is, somebody's already committed us to this project. And we're committed right here to the Trinity Bay, and does it have to go forward? We're already committed?
I believe it was brought in here.
Somebody's already committed to Trinity Bay to do this.
No, they asked me if I would do it. That's why I brought it to the board last meeting.
It says, rather than include this service as part of the engineering scope, T.C.B. has offered to pay the wetlands delineation, and evidently the engineers can put it in their scope. What engineer company is doing this?
LJA,
How much are they getting for the whole project?
for the whole project, 12%. But they are paid by the GLO. Basically, this is a general land office. So basically, they pick the engineering company and they pick the management company and everything else. So basically, then the money is given to the county, and we're actually doing this for the county.
So we couldn't include this in the engineering scope?
No,
It said rather than including this service as part of the engineering scope.
I understand.
Okay, it said that, then we offered, T.C.D. has offered to pay for the wetlands delineation.
And then I talked to the people, and they asked if we would do it, and basically I brought it here to the board, we're gonna have a meeting last
Yeah, now
couple of weeks ago, to
this
see
letter
if you
was dated,
did, and if you don't want to, then basically, you know,
this letter was
Why
dated,
wouldn't we want to?
why wouldn't we get to the April meeting when this letter, this conversation was done March 13th, the letter was dated March 20th?
basically, you have a
Now,
right.
why did it come to the board then?
Because all the stuff wasn't put together. I didn't have permission from the GLO. Basically, they have to tell me that, yes, they think it'll work. Basically, we tried to go from Oak Island down to 563, back around and pick up all of that area, and then come to find out that was tiled wetlands, so we couldn't go that route and had to change it.
In this letter.
Jeffrey, I put that together in a week.
I know that this was put together, this wetland
Right.
thing was put together.
As soon as basically we felt like it was gone far enough for them to agree to it, then it was brought to the board to say whether or not you had a choice to pay for it or not.
We tabled it last meeting.
We're
For that period, we're
going to
going
ask about the reimbursement. Now, you got to remember, and I don't mean to be upset again, we got involved in our last GLO program and spent some money and got shut down for 6 months.
Yes.
Okay?
So you don't want the money.
Well, I have something to add.
Go ahead, Mr. Olson.
I've served on this board 2 rounds, 15 years. And the one thing that I know is Midpoint's not happy. Midpoint's sitting out there in mass. Trust me, been there, done that.
Right.
When they needed sewer, when their water pressure wasn't good. When they come 30 up, and it's every meeting. And in 08, Carol Blackman, same engineering firm, we're using him, came to us and said, we need to put a tank at Midpoint because of the water pressure. They engineered it. They said, this will hold you for a long time unless there's some exorbitant projects going in down there,
Right.
development. Okay?
It's been 9 years.
We built the tank. We've not had a person from Midpoint come back to our meeting since the tank was built. So I'm assuming they're pretty happy down there. So I talked to some people at Midpoint. Your precinct comes from you. Talk to any of them.
I hear all the time from this point.
What?
I hear from this point.
Do you get complaints?
You what?
Do you get complaints about the water pressure?
Only in the afternoon. Because we're
Okay.
efficient on the side of the amount of water we can get to the tank down there. And if they use the water up,
Wait.
it takes all night long for our system at Oak Island.
But there's a picture of that. I sent Tracy Woody an email, and I said, Tracy, I hate to bother you, but we have a T.B.C.D workshop next week, and I need to know how your water pressure is at some point. Thanks, Rodney, simple. He answered back. The pressure drops in the evening and on weekends, especially when they are draining water out of the hydrants for weeks at a time. We're causing the problem.
Well,
Why are we draining, why are we flushing lines for weeks at a time? I don't know.
Because we can't get enough chlorine down there.
You can't get enough chlorine, you also, by law, have to flush these dead ends. They had
But for weeks at a
what
time.
kind of tournament, or what kind of, the rock
We're
and roll?
processing water, and then we're dumping it all in the ditch. And we can't add chlorine down
Some of them
there.
have to be done weekly, some of them have to be done monthly. But the thing about it is, they had an event down there about a month ago, and I got called all weekend, and that Monday and Tuesday, and then a man come down here
Well, I'm
Wednesday,
amazed they're not all in this room.
because when they tried to take water off the hydrants for water the road, and when they would fill up the fire trucks, they had no water in the houses.
That was for the
That's for the rock loss about a month ago.
Yeah, that was a problem you told me about.
Yes.
I remember.
But I guess I find it ironic that Carol Blackmore, which is now LJA, told us this would be great forever unless it was a huge snow. And now we're gonna run this line and they're gonna make $500 million on it. I have a problem with all that. If the line is going straight down the right of way where the other line is, I don't understand why we need all this engineering. I mean, I have a problem with $500 million in engineering.
Anything over $2,000 has to be engineered.
T.B.C.D.
I still have a problem with it.
Oh, I don't like it either because it's money that could be spent on other problems, but we have to follow the law.
Really.
Trying to.
Basically, the tank was put in for fire protection. Basically, the tank fills up and it's sit there, and basically if they have a fire, the pumps kick on, that way to put out a fire down there.
Here's the problem, on anything, we're using the same engineering firm that screwed it up and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't pick them. GLO picked them.
Why you picking them for this? It's $30,000.
It's our in-house engineering firm. What kind of club?
Well, I see where we stand right now, we have a motion. It's been going forward, I'm on second motion. That's
Go right ahead.
The motion has been made by Tommy and seconded by Greg. We'll take a vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
2 against and 3 for. Motion carried. Moving on to item number 5.
Basically, the air conditioning company that put the air conditioner in here in our office, basically they can get an energy efficiency program, a little bit of tax break for putting an efficient system in here. And basically, we're a nonprofit, so we cannot, are a public organization and non-taxed. So basically, we cannot get the benefit of it, but the air conditioner company can. So they're asking our permission to be able to do it.
I make a motion that I think it's nice that we let them have that IRS perk.
All in favor? Motion is carried. Moving on to item number 6, review and consider replacing sewer lines in the Winnie stove area, which is why you're complaining right here today. Is there any comment on this here?
Basically, we've gone and we've looked at everything that needs to be replaced in the Winnie Stoll area. And I don't know if you can tell or not by that, but majority of you that have complained, this is all the red markings in there are the lines that need to be replaced. Basically, everything that needs to be done in Stoll and in Winnie is $3.2 million. And again, the engineering company gets 12%, $400,000. But so basically, we were proposing to do about $1 million worth, and that would take care of the problems with most of the people that have problems. And then we would go in and replace the stuff that is old, that really and truly, even though this guy on this side of the road's not having any problem, it's concrete pipe with open joints, and like you were saying, the water gets in there and it fills the whole system up and causes everybody to have problems.
I do know too that even behind the post office, there's actually been some cases where the pipe had collapsed. And it's been so bad behind Miss Fontenot's house and everything else we addressed.
Talking about post office extreme.
That's some of the oldest and the first systems we put in here when sewers started going into one. And it needs to be attended to because it's causing too many problems.
Well, again, it causes problems in the sewer plant, because you're processing all that rainwater.
All the rainwater and everything causes this extra.
It just multiplies.
Right, all that getting leached into the system, we have to process it also, which helps slow down the
Okay,
process.
can we break this into areas?
It's got to be fixed.
Are they all one as bad as the other?
Basically, we will, like I say, we're going to do it as complaints, and Ned is here. We replace some stuff. If you look on the Stoll end down there, Stoll was considered a low-income area, and I was able to get a $350,000 grant, and we went in there and replaced quite a bit of the sewer system. When they did the last census, basically, the only place is considered low income anymore is along Lake Anahuac and at Smith Point. And this is one of the reasons why we were able to do the water line to Smith Point, because it met all the criteria of low income and everything else. There was no other place that you could spend it. So basically, for us to get the benefit out of it. So basically, if you look at the little bit on the right-hand side, that's all that's left in Stoll that has not been replaced or rehabbed. And then the rest of it in Winnie, several of it has been replaced and rehabbed. And basically, so we were going to do it by complaints behind, like I said, behind the post office, on Chestnut, Walnut, and everything else. I get quite a few complaints back down there. And that end, we were going to replace some of that. Back behind, what was his name?
Blue Bonnet.
Dudley Franzine lives back in there. He's been in here several times. And there's another gentleman that called me this morning off of Hale Street that he has problems all the time. So basically, and another reason why I wanted to break it up, and if we put a contract together and something happens in the contract that we don't like, I spent $1 million, and the next contract that I put out, I can correct a mistake or anything if we have a mistake in the first one. That happens sometimes, that you forget to put in that they're required to put the grass back, or they're required to do this, that, and other, and you miss little things. And anyway, so basically you're able to let another contract, and if I were to go in there and try to do $3.2 million worth of work at one time in Winnie, Texas, basically you couldn't get down any road. So this is why we would like to split it up.
Dorkin?
Are we pipe bursting?
Yes, basically, we're gonna go in there and we're gonna pull a line inside the old line. We're gonna replace all the manholes, replace all the taps and everything.
This may be a stupid question today, but I'm asking for more.
Okay,
What does a pipe bursting machine cost versus contracting this?
basically, the problem is labor. I mean, I would have to gear up and basically, from my understanding and all of my sources, with the work as slow as it is, I can get it done for $20 a foot or less. And they're telling me that all the contractors, Horseshoe, PM, and all of them in Houston are begging for it.
What does the machine cost?
Basically, a pipe bursting tool, it'll do up to 12 inch, you're looking at $45,000. Then you have to have a winch that's $150,000 that hooks onto the front of it. Then you have to have an air compressor that's another $40,000. And then you have to have a fusion machine that's another $40,000. So basically, whenever
You
you,
can have it forever to do everything.
but basically, like I say,
The other problem is it takes about a 12-man crew to run it.
it takes about a 12-man crew, and basically, we're putting in saltwater structures, we've been building bridges, we're putting in water lines and all this other kind of stuff. And we would have
I'm
to
just curious.
I would have to really gear up and hire a bunch of people and everything else to do it in-house, yes.
May I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
You're talking about pipes and manholes and things.
Yes.
Will that include anything with the lift stations?
Yes, ma'am. Basically, I went out and looked at the lift station at Dugong, and I could not see where the lift station itself ran over or anything. Was it a manhole running over or
No,
anything?
that whole lift station floods.
Yes, ma'am.
And then we see bubbling
Okay.
up in there
So
when it
actually, the
does
lift
that.
station lid actually goes underwater?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What's it?
So it's taking on the water, it's not just
Yes.
putting it out.
Well, when it bubbles like that, I don't know if there's something coming out or not. I mean, I'm not out there.
Okay, well,
testing it,
I went out
but-
and looked at it too, that's why I was
Yeah.
asking, and I didn't see any indication of sewer
Yeah.
or where it had been, that's why I was wondering when you spoke about it, was it actually flooded over or was water coming out? It kind of makes a difference on how it's at.
Yeah, and I really don't have an answer to that. I don't really know how to differentiate that.
But it was covered over with water.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's
And
what
then,
I'm
like I say, our sink's bubbling. So that's not
Actually,
sounding.
Chuck Riddell bought that property
Yes,
there.
yes.
And he's been talking to me and
Right.
he would like for me to move that pump
Right.
station and stuff, so we're looking at it to see if there's any way that we could possibly move it and rehab it, that it wouldn't cost everybody.
Well, that's another concern. We're the first of 6
Yes, ma'am.
people to build out there, so there would be 5 other homes
Yes, ma'am.
built there going into that lift station.
So it needs contingency.
Yes.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
So, but also, we lost power for about an hour and a half, Sunday morning also. The power went out and, you know, that's a unique thing, but still it happens. But back to where you're talking about here, so let's say I go in there and I put a larger lift station in there, bigger pumps. Well, what happens is now you're pumping it down the line and it's dumping in on Manili, and now all this water pressure is going from your house to this gentleman's house over there and flooding him out. So this is why the whole thing has to be looked at.
Sure.
To make sure whenever we do this, that I don't take it from your house and dump it on this gentleman over here.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, I have one more question. You were
Okay.
saying the electricity when it goes out,
And the
so
pumps do not run.
pumps do not run. So if we have a hurricane and we're out of electricity
Yes,
for
ma'am.
a week,
Basically, we have a contingency plan, and we have a company called Crowder Built that does disaster for us. And basically, we have what is considered a push package. So basically, in that case, within 24 hours, they provide us with emergency generators that we would take, and we would go out there and we would plug in and pump these things down.
okay,
Manually.
Yes, the larger ones already have stationary generators on them, but the small one like that, we would come by with a truck and a generator and pump it down once a day or however much is
okay.
needed.
Sorry if I'm asking stupid
No,
questions.
no.
We just moved here, so I'm not,
Yes,
you know,
ma'am.
familiar with the way it works.
We just installed generator plugs on all of our lift stations throughout the systems. That way that this can happen. We have a plan put together where this guy goes in a truck and he's got 8 pump stations for him to pump. And that's his job, is just go around and keep them all pumped down. Some of them, when there's nobody's here, you might not have to pump them every 3 days. And then some of them, the one Altel, the largest one behind on Broadway over there, it would have to have a permanent generator there running all the time. So we already have a contingency plan in our hurricane preparedness.
Okay,
Those are good questions.
Yes,
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
This upgrade
Yes.
sewer system, how much is gonna cost, how is gonna impact us as customers?
Basically,
And how long, is it permanent increases or was the project paid for?
basically, Trinity Bay, with Jeffrey's help, we put together a package to where basically we went out and we actually did all of the FEMA work that needed to be done. So basically Trinity Bay was reimbursed for the labor and equipment rental to build bridges and structures and everything else. So we were able to put this money into the bank, and basically we were going to use this money to do this rehab, and it shouldn't cost the citizens anything. I don't plan to raise any taxes. I don't plan on borrowing any money or anything else. This is money that Trinity Bay employees worked hard and made.
right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Is there any other comments? All right. We have review and consider dilapidated sewer lines in Winnie. Do we have a motion on this?
Yeah, I make the motion that we replace these dilapidated sewer lines in Winnie installed.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Right?
All opposed? Motion has carried. Okay. Item number 7, review and consider authorizing an inter-fund transfer of $1 million from the CD to start the sewer line replacement procedure.
Let me say one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not being negative.
No.
No. I have a question though, because those funds belong to drainage. We transfer water and sewer borrows. What is the procedure?
Basically, I talked to Leanne, and she sent it to me in writing, that basically we made that money from FEMA, and it's our money and we can spend it however like we would like
But am I
to.
correct, it's actually drainage money?
Yes.
Yes.
And it can, basically, you can give it as a gift from drainage to the water.
Is it a gift or a loan?
And it can be, I plan to do it as a gift. That way you do not have to pay.
And she blessed that,
Yes,
then I know.
and Mr. Goodson blessed it, and also Mr. Brandon from FEMA blessed it.
All I need to know.
Okay.
Let me ask you this, can we, when we have a plant in place, can we transfer the money then? When we use it?
Yeah, we don't need to transfer the money yet.
I mean, can we?
I'm telling you right now.
Right, I mean,
I mean, I
We
don't
don't
know
need to
about
do
that.
that.
I agree with you, 100%. Basically, what we're gonna do, we're authorizing, your next deal is to authorize the engineer to put a contract together and prepare the plans and everything else of where we're gonna go, what we're gonna do, how we're gonna do it. And the next one is for them to go out for bid for, the board will be able to look at where we're going and what we're doing with it and the areas that we're gonna do, that it'll be public knowledge, the areas we're gonna do.
Does the engineering firm have to put it together, can we do it?
No, basically it has to be engineered different. According to the law, anything over $2,000 has to be engineered.
Okay, let me make a statement.
Can we send the bomb versus the form? Can we?
Yeah, we got an engineer on it.
Yes.
I mean, that was what your friends, he had the hole in it, had a big hole in the pipe first or something from that block all the way
Second
to
Street, yes.
before 124, you had to stop. You couldn't cross.
That was an emergency repair, the line was collapsed.
We had what
They
different,
ran an engineer on pipe first.
yes. That was all done under low income there, wasn't it, or not?
It was, we already had that contractor here. So
Right.
we asked him that it was collapsed and right behind Yale's office there. So basically, for the same price, he did that line.
I mean, I noticed here on the whole plan, we're gonna spend $500,000 on engineers.
That's typical 12%. And that's a shame.
But that's only $4 million job. We're only doing one now.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let me just make a statement on item 7.
Yes, ma'am.
No member of the board is opposed to the transfer. However, the board would like to wait until we have a plan from the engineer
Sure.
to actually transfer.
Sure.
Okay.
So would you need a motion?
That is just a statement.
Okay. And we can add on there for wages.
No transfer.
This is just the transfer.
Would you
No
like to
spending.
make a motion, Dawn?
No spending,
That was
just
a
the transfer.
statement.
In fact, I asked for the CD was
Okay.
We'll have to take bids.
renew it, whatever you want to
That money's in there making interest.
Yeah.
On big
A little.
roads.
Yeah,
There's no need to move it anything now, we don't have a plan.
that's fine.
What I'm saying is the board is unanimous in doing it when the time is right to move the money.
And I think we are. Okay, everybody agrees? So we don't have to make a motion on that.
Yeah.
We can move on to item number 8. Review and consider authorizing LJA Engineering to prepare a contract to take bids for the sewer rehabilitation.
I mean, how much is that gonna cost?
12% of $1 million is $120,000. That's right, another one.
I hate that, Jeff.
Well, can we negotiate the engineering company? I mean, can we get another engineering company that might do it?
They're our engineers, we've already
They're
hired.
our house engineers.
I mean, you know, they,
It's there, you're
Yeah,
stuck
you have
with
to-
the bids, if you want to use it.
To be able to.
It's under our engineers. And then,
so $120,000 their money before we even do a damn thing, gonna go to an engineer.
so pipe burst the line that's already there, yeah. But we can't come.
Can't say
Yeah,
that.
not right.
I wish we could.
Yeah.
Not in today's society. we can.
Cost of doing business.
I know, it's a shame. It is a shame.
It just is what it is.
But
It may not be right, but it is.
We are controlled by TECQ, which is the Texas State Agency, and we have to do
That's
things.
non-negotiable?
Yeah.
They get a percentage.
Well, you know,
Mr. Goodson, you got something to add?
Well, right now, the way the agenda item is, we're just simply authorizing them to draft the contract, prepare and advertise Yes, this is not actually them undertaking all of the engineering
No, sir.
services roads.
You're right.
I understand. They'll be doing some design work, under the contract and then preparing the contract documents for advertising.
And we will negotiate the fact that basically we'll inspect it ourselves. Basically, normally on a lot of the, actually the building that we built right here, we saved a bunch of money because we didn't have, we did our own inspection and everything else whenever we built it to save money. Because we have the people that have that expertise. So basically, as they pipe burst and everything else, we will inspect it ourselves.
Okay.
So we could probably save a little money there.
I need a motion on that.
I'll make a motion that we authorize LJ Engineering to prepare a contract. Take bids on the store.
Have a second.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Motion has passed. Now, Mr. Goodson, you said there was, well, we can take the other, we don't have any reports today? Or-
No, this was special thing, they'll be next week.
Okay. You did say there was something we had to talk about in, or.
Well, I think it's sort of scheduled, we're on the way, we bring that up on executive session.
So we don't have anything else?
Yes, we just mentioned it, we'll take a, if we have to address it on the executive session item, we'll take it up next week.
I think I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn the official meeting.
All in favor? And the meeting is adjourned. Appreciate y'all.
Okay, my sister Becky Dale moved here about 7 months ago. And she lives on 5th Street, which is right directly behind the Gulf Coast Bank. And 75% of the time, the sewer doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's dry, raining, whatever it is. And then they actually put a manhole cover for cleaning out the sewer in the ditch itself. So whenever it floods, the water directly goes into the sewer system. And then at my house, it's drainage that I have a problem with. That the ditches fill up, all backs up, floods my yard, floods my neighbor's yard. Neighbor's got about a foot and a half of water in it. My backyard, got a bunch of money invested into it, and around the pool, it's got a pool deck, which is concrete. It's all being undermined, cracking and busted.